This video is about how to ask better questions when you are reviewing someone else's financial model. Okay, so in the previous two videos that I published on the same topic, on the review of a project finance model, I explained to you a little bit about the general process of review of a project finance model, at least how I do it. And in there, I told you that I do it in two steps. Step one is what I call the body search, is where I check the model mechanics, structure, and design. And the step two is the soul search. It's where I go deeper into the inputs and calculation and define a base case. But today, I just want to open a parenthesis and just tell you a little bit about how to ask better questions. Before I give you these hints, I just want to share with you a housekeeping trick. And this is to include the question and answer on the financial model within the financial model. So what I do, and I find it to be very helpful, is whenever I review someone else's financial model, I create a sheet within the model, which I call Q&A. And then it's a very simple sheet. I just put the reference and then the question and then the answer. So every time that I maybe receive a question from someone on my financial model, I put it in that sheet and I put my answer next to it. And I send the model together with the question, the updated model together with the question and my answers to the person. Okay. And when I also do the review of a financial model version, I put that Q&A sheet and I put my question and I ask them to give the answer directly into that sheet when they are sending me the next iteration of the model. This way, you first of all, you have the history of all the question and answer on the financial model. So maybe if someone comes later at later stage and they review the financial model, they might have the same questions, right? So they can go and find the answer there. And so many times it happens to me that I am in a meeting and somebody asks me a question and I know that I have already answered it. So I go and do a quick search on the Q&A and find the answer and give it to them. So in that simple Q&A sheet, it's important to also put the reference to, because the questions are mainly, not always, but they are mainly related to the financial model, right? So I make sure that I put the reference to the cell or to the row or to the sheet that the question is coming from within that Q&A sheet. But what I realized that is because as you update the model, you might add rows and columns. So if you put the reference just in text format, then you might kind of lose the reference. So you might kind of, in the next iteration of the model, that cell reference that you have put in your Q&A might not be the same because you added columns and rows, okay? So what I do is that I put the link, equal the cell, equal the row. And then I use the formula text formula to get the formula reference. Okay, so I found this to be an interesting solution. You might have a better solution for this. I'm sure there are some other ways to do it, but this way I found it to be an easy way to make sure that I have the right cell reference related to the question that was asked or I am asking. All right, so that was just some housekeeping, and now I want to just share with you something that I think is important to consider when you are reviewing a financial model is to basically think about, you know, a tree process when you're asking a question. It's just regarding mostly about like communication style, I would say. Um, you need to be very clear and concise when you're asking a question. You cannot just, question something and this calculation is not clear. I mean, what do you expect as an answer from this? This calculation is not clear. What do you expect from that? When I ask a question, I first of all, if there is something that maybe I question, first of all, I try to keep an open mind. I say, maybe I am missing something. Maybe it's me. I don't understand it. It's not something they did wrong. Maybe I am not getting it. Maybe I don't have enough information. Okay. That's why I said that as a financial modeler, you should have access to all the project documents. You should have access to all the information available about the project so that you can ask the right questions. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have received like long list of questions on the inputs. Where did you get the yield factor? Where did you get the insurance, cost? It is already in the project documents, right? I got it from somewhere in the project documents. So I will tell you later on when I make a video about the step 2 of the soul search of a financial model. I will tell you hints on how to make sure that the people who are reviewing your model, they are aware of where you got your data from, where you got your inputs from. But many times people, they don't, go and read the project documents, or they don't have access to it. That's why they come back and they ask, okay? So in order to avoid that, you need to really share all the information with the person who are reviewing the financial model so that they don't ask questions that the answer is already available in some of the project documents, okay? So let's suppose that this is not the case. The person who is reviewing the financial model has full access on the project database. However, they still have some questions, right? So what I do when I review someone else's financial model, first of all, I make sure that I don't ask questions that the answer is already in one of the project documents. So I make sure that I review all the project documents. Second, I always keep an open mind. So if something is not clear to me, I don't accuse. I say that, a financial modeler should be a financial model detective, but a financial model detective doesn't accuse, is curious, has an open mind, and is just asking questions just to understand, and not to accuse. So that's the attitude that I adopt. First of all, I ask the why question. I mean, this why question is such an important question. Why did you do it this way? Is it something that I'm missing? Not, that you're making a mistake right away. Why did you do it this way? Like, I always give this example when I'm explaining this topic. I was reviewing, actually, I send the model for review to someone. And when we are defining the labels, we always, go and check it with the team to make sure that the budget that we are, putting in the financial model, it's just like, it's such an important, I think I need to make a video about that, the budget, and the cost items that you put in the sources and uses items, how to define the labels, and also in the OPEX and throughout the financial model, actually, the cost items, it's so important, how much detail you need to put there and how to label them. So anyways, we had an OPEX item in that model that we called management fees. We sent the model, I don't know if it was a lender, I don't remember exactly who was the other stakeholder who reviewed the model, but they came back to us and said management fees are not allowed as part of the operating expenses and should be included as dividend and pass the dividend lockup test and all that. So they gave us instruction of why the management fees should not be as part of the OPEX. So I was surprised and I said, oof, oof, you're accusing me that I am extracting early dividends. And was not the case. The case was that actually it was a company that was hired for the first 3 or 5 years of the project, for the handover of so it was actually a real cost, so there were a contract, there were some people who were hired to do a certain job. So it was really an operating cost, it was not dividend. It was not even going to the to the shareholders' pocket in that case. Even if some of the shareholders they are getting, something out of the OPEX, it might be the case because they have the expertise. If I am a shareholder and I have the financial, advisory within my team, I can say I will do it. I would do the financial advisory throughout the project, and I need to get paid for it. I need to get compensated for it. How much I get compensation from it, you can question it. You can go and benchmark it and understand, okay, so is this, in line with what other people are getting, or are these people getting too much out of the OPEX? But the fact that, someone comes and provides a service, if it is a shareholder or not, it needs to be remunerated, right? So that's something that everybody should understand. So that was the thing. So we provided the answer that these are actually not early dividends, and this we provided the contract, which was already in the project, share drive. So they could have go and look for it and find out about it, but they didn't do the job. So we gave them the explanation, but it was, to me, it's not, we kind of laughed about it within our team, and these people, they didn't do their job right, and they accused, and it's not really appropriate. So I would say that in order to avoid this kind of circumstances, just in the first review when you are doing, just keep an open mind, and instead of accusing, just pose the question, why did you do it this way? For example, to give you another example is when, for example, I was reviewing a project budget, and it happens a lot that I don't see the contingency in it, right? And so instead of saying that contingency is not included in the project cost, and we require 5 to 15% contingency to be included in the project budget, instead of accusing again of saying that you didn't do it, you might ask the question, is contingency, we cannot see contingency in the budget. Is it included somewhere else, maybe within the EPC cost or what? If it is the case, please separate it, put it as a separate cost, and also tell them exactly what are your requirements in terms of contingency. So that's an example of how you want to ask the question. But if they did something wrong that, for example, hard coding within formula, then you can skip the why question. You just tell them why you think it's wrong to hard code inputs within formulas. Okay. So you tell them where you got the hard coding from in the model, the reference, why you think it's not good to hard code within formula for the purpose of transparency and flexibility and all that, and how to resolve it. Please separate all the inputs, in a separate sheet, categorized by type. This way the model will be, so just, give the explanation of why you think something needs to be done in the model and how to do it, okay? And I have a blog post about it, about the why behind the financial modeling standards, that I recommend you to go and check it out after this video. Yeah, so that's it for me for this one. I just wanted to give you some quick hints on how to ask better questions. I'm going to put some links to other materials as well that can help you in that regards. But these are all the things that are somehow related to communication, like soft skills that a financial modeler should have. And as we progress nowadays with all these automations and the talks about AI and all that, as a financial modeler, you should focus more on, of course, you need to work on your technical skills, but one thing that is very important to work is on your soft skills, on your communication skills, leadership skills, and all that is going to help you a lot in future, because most of the kind of mechanical things that we do will most probably be replaced by some automation, okay? And it's a good thing, to be honest with you. But what will remain is your analytical thinking and your communication style. And so that's something that is very valuable, and your creativity, of course. I always say the future is for creative people, and just work on that. So don't take things as given, and always question and come up with new things. In this era that we are going through right now, creativity is very important. So that's something that I myself am working on nowadays, is just to see how I can be more creative in what I do. And that's also something that I encourage you to do. Okay, so that's it for me. Next time, I'm gonna share with you some hints and tricks on how to do the body search or the mechanical search of the financial model when you're reviewing someone else's financial model. All right, that's it for me. Thank you and bye.